Welcome into the WQAD podcast room as we are ready with another edition of Beyond the Score. Corey Kuffler, Jenna Miner, Jonah Krell joining you once again. We've got a lot to talk about since the last time that we did a podcast, which is about a week and a half ago. We're going to break down some Steamwheelers. We're going to talk a little Iowa football, Illinois football, high school football, and then we have a couple fun questions at the end once again. So it should be a lot of fun. So let's start with the Quad City Steamwheelers, who unfortunately had their season come to an end. What was it, 71-64? Is that what it was?
That was
a loss
final.
to the Green Bay Blizzard in the Eastern Conference Championship. A really good game.
Really
if you
good.
didn't get down to the vibrant arena to see it, you did miss out. It was a really, really good football game that's had an unfortunate ending. But it was a really good football game. Jen, I'll start with you. You were down there.
Yeah.
What was the build-up like? I mean, as you were getting ready to watch shoot the game and work the game and things like that.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Well, first of all, I'm just going to start with the obvious, and that's the fans in the stands. I mean, all year, Corey Ross and the Wheelers have talked about how it's their ninth man. You felt it so, crazy for that game. I was there actually with, it was me and some of the other sports reporters in the Quad Cities, and we were all we're getting goosebumps. It was so loud in there. The crowd was going crazy, and that had to give them so much energy. And it was cool, too, just to see, every time Daquan goes out, the stands are like, MVP. And then every time Mailer came out for the Blizzard brought a pretty big crowd, too. And then they were going MVP, and it's just very back and forth, a lot of chirping with the fans. So that aspect was really cool. The game itself, oh my gosh. Every drive was a touchdown. And you're watching it, you're like, whoever gets that stop, that's the team that's going to win. And that's, ultimately what ended up happening. Again, it was a very unfortunate way for the game to end. But, there's just so much to be proud of that season. What a year it was for them. And there's just, a sad way for it to end, but there's so much to be proud of and a lot to build on for next season for sure.
So the Wheelers finished the year at 12-6
Yes.
For the season. They were 11. They had 11 wins going into the playoffs. Had the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. Had 2 home games, which they hadn't done since 2007. There was a lot of anticipation for this year, but that game could not have started any worse for the Steamwheelers.
Oh,
Opening kickoff, return for a touchdown, and then the kicker for Green Bay hits a deuce.
Yeah.
And it's 9-0 before the Wheelers even touch the ball.
I know.
And it's just no, that's not good.
Yeah, and it's just hard, I feel like, for them to crawl their way out of that. But they kept fighting. They kept going, and they eventually, coming out after halftime, being able to score, they finally took over that lead. But then that kickoff where it bounced off the post and the Steamwheelers didn't recover it, the Blizzard recovered and then scored off of that. That's when, and then they were up 2 possessions. That's when it kind of got a little dicey there.
You mentioned it was a team that got the stop. The kickoff that hit the upright or the crossbar that they got is technically a stop.
Yep.
Then the Wheelers thought they had an interception that got overturned because it hit the sidewall first. And then they got the safety.
The safety,
in
and then
the
the
end zone.
onside kick not going 10 yards.
Because of the holding penalty, yes. So it's just, again,
Serious
those types of
things.
games, you can't have those little mistakes. Unfortunately, they did have them. But it doesn't diminish what they were able to accomplish this year.
Yeah.
This was your first year ever watching arena football, right? And what was it like for you to kind of see that type of game?
Oh, yeah. So fun. Very fast-paced, back and forth. One play, and it can be a touchdown. That's how arena football can be. And this is just a very exciting team. The skill position players, there's so many names that contribute. Deion McShane, Jordan Vesey, Tamarion Terry had 3 touchdowns in this game. Jared Ware Jr.
went off.
Daquan Neal threw 6 touchdowns, ran for another one. So there's so much excitement with this team, and it was a real privilege to watch this specific team because they can really do some offense, like fireworks on offense. It's really cool.
They have a lot of guys that potentially can be back next year, which is pretty exciting. You got 2 guys that are local. You got Jordan Vesey, Rock Island grad. This was his 2nd year in the league. And then you have Kevin Rudd, a Davenport Central grad.
He's coming back for one more.
Yep, he's played 7 years. He's coming back for his 8th year, and he said it's going to be his final year. When I talked to him on Wednesday, he talked about just the excitement of not only playing at home, but getting the chance to win and get the team back to the championship game, which, again, did not happen because they did it 3 years ago in 2022. But they had to do it as road warriors. They won every road game, get to the championship, and got second that year as well. I asked him, I go, have you talked to Jordan about any of this? Like, being that local guy, is there any extra weight on their shoulders or anything like that? And he's like, you know what? I want Jordan to have his own experiences. I got to have my own experiences. So he didn't talk to him too much about it before then. I'm sure they did talk a little bit. But Jordan was one of those guys this year that really had a breakout season, I thought. Daquan Neal talked about taking him under his wing and kind of making him into a receiver. He really
like
wasn't
a little brother to him.
He really wasn't a receiver. Coming out of high school, he played a little bit of it in college, whatever, but he really blossomed this year. It was kind of fun to see him get that role and I guess build on that role. Unfortunately, he got hurt in that game. That really hurt them.
Exactly.
At first, I thought it was just a cramp in his, I think it was his right calf, right or left calf, I don't remember. Either way, when he went out, that offense kind of slowed down just a little bit. They didn't have that good go-to receiver. Not that Kevin and some of the other guys are, but Jordan always seemed to be that guy to make the catches.
Exactly.
Jared Ware did step up and had a really good game, but he went out, and I think they had one other guy that went out too on the defensive side. So they had two guys that got hurt, which kind of really hurt them in the long run. But again, nothing to take away from the season that they had. What were your thoughts? Not just on the game, but just them as your first year really getting to cover them and see them up close.
Yeah, because, again, I didn't really get to go to a lot of their games last year, so it was like my first time experiencing it. I just think the IFL is just really fun to watch. And, again, as you guys know, I'm a football lover. I love it. So it's fun to get that taste of football, in the NFL offseason and, the high school offseason. It's cool to still have something like that. But they were just a fun group to watch, and you could tell just how close-knit they are. That's one thing that Joe Kroll was saying at the end of the game. He was talking about how close they are, and it was about building a family. And he's like, it's disappointing we didn't make it to where we wanted to, but, they're looking on this to build off of it. And they are really tight, and hopefully so some of those guys will come back. They can sort of keep that bond, and any new people they're bringing in, I'm sure they'll take under their wings, and they'll all just meld together. So it was just really fun. Really fun to watch them, and like Jonah said too, it's like there's so many players that make an impact. Like you can't even just name a couple of them. It's like everybody does their part. Everybody shines in the moments they need to shine. They were just such a special group to watch this year. I
would say even though they lost that last game, they definitely won the season.
Oh yeah,
because there was a lot of fans at all the games. Especially that last game.
Yeah.
That's probably the most I've seen down at the Vibrant Arena for a arena football game since one they came back, and I believe it was 2015 when they came back. But even back to 2000, 2001 when they won those first 2 years in the AF2, when I believe they went 40 or 39-1 or something like that and won the first two championships. But ever since then, they hadn't had the crowds like they had the other day, and that was really fun to see. For me, it was a little bit different because I didn't have to stand on the sidelines. It was kind of weird, honestly. It was weird a little bit.
Where you sit in the stands, you are a collision magnet because you're right on the wall, and they always run into you. And so I'm shooting, and I'm like, oh, there's Cuff. He almost got hit again. It was every game. I was like, oh my gosh, you were in when you go to a water park and it's the splash zone. That was you, but in Vibrant Arena for Steamwheelers games.
So my daughter actually did get hit in that.
Really?
Yeah, so Mailer came over the boards.
Yeah.
I think it was in the third quarter, late in the third quarter or fourth quarter. I don't remember. Second half. Anyway, he comes over the boards and landed on her ankle, and her ankle was all bruised, and she was fine.
Oh my gosh.
She was fine, but it's just one of the perils of sitting front row.
Jeez.
That game I sat second row, so I was okay.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I let other people sit in the front row. But it was pretty cool to see from that angle because, again, you're there. You get to see the coaches up close. You get to hear some of the coaches speak. And I would say for the most part, most of the coaches are pretty cool. They do talk to the fans and whatever. Again, that unfortunate incident at the end between the fans and a player from Green Bay and all that happened, but whatever. Any other takeaways from the Steamwheelers? Any player that you want to see come back for sure? Obviously, because Jordan Vesey, Kevin Rudd are going to be back. Yeah. Is there any guy that you want to see back? I would love to see Daquan come back.
Absolutely.
He came here because of Corey's offense. Yeah. And I think he really blossomed this year in that offense. But is there another guy out there that you guys want to see?
Oh, geez. I got to say, you talked a lot about, we threw out some offensive guys. I'm going to go defense. You know who I love watching play? It's Keyshawn Moore. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to see him back because if I was a quarterback in the IFL, I would not want to see Keyshawn on the other side. Like, I would love to see him back. I think he's obviously a huge piece of that defense. He would be great to have back.
You stole both of you guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My number one was Daquan, and
Yes.
then the other one was Keyshawn.
Yeah.
I would throw out Joe Kroll again. We've already
Yeah.
mentioned the very veteran offensive lineman. Just provides such a steady presence for them up front. Daquan Neal rarely gets sacked, and it's because of that really
Right.
good offensive line, and he's a Monmouth guy, so he's local, and he just means a lot, and he really cares. You could tell from that interview post game, he just really cares about this team, and hopefully he can come back. Or I saw that he worked out with an NFL team, so wherever he goes, hopefully he gets a shot.
Yeah, a lot of these guys, they do hope it springboards them onto something else. Sometimes I would say most of the time it doesn't happen, but they do get a chance to maybe go to a training camp and maybe learn a few things and better themselves. Then when they come back here, they're going to make everybody else around them just as good. Somebody that came back for this last game was Ivory Scott Jr. He was injured the week before, so he came back and was playing. He was in a boot, I think, the week before in their would that be the semifinal game, I guess you could say, of the Eastern Conference. The one person I hope heals up really well, Corey Ross.
I know. I was going to say, is he out of his boot yet?
No, he was still walking the sidelines in his boot, and he was getting around pretty good. But, yeah, he had an Achilles injury, which we won't get into too much about that. But no, a great guy. He's been coach here ever since they had the reboot.
Yeah.
And just a super guy.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't know much about him, he went to Nebraska, had a really good 4 years at Nebraska as a running back, got drafted by the Baltimore Ravens, played in the league, I want to say 3 to 5 years, something like that. He actually played in the NFL, was a running back, played pretty well, and now has been the head coach of the he was down in Texas, and he came up with Doug Bland, who is the owner of the Steamwheelers, when Doug came back up, because Doug's an Ottawa guy originally.
Okay.
And the reboot of the Wheelers, he's like, I want him as my coach. He came back. He's a really good offensive mind, is Corey Ross, and their offenses are always really good. And then Thurgood Brooks, you'll see him on the sidelines at Rock Island games. He's also their defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He's the Wheelers' defensive coordinator. So there's a lot of local ties to the Quad City Steamwheelers, which is really cool, which, again, is what gets the fans out and about.
Oh, yeah.
So, unfortunately, the Wheelers season comes to an end, but a great year, and we will look forward to having them back on the field in February.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It'll be here like that.
I know.
So it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. All right, so moving on. Let's keep talking a little football. And let's talk a little Iowa Hawkeye football, because they had their media day on April. August.
You had the first letter of the month, right?
August 7th.
Yeah,
is that
it was
right?
a Friday.
It was a Friday, and you guys were both up there. What was that like?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna speak for me and Jonah, and hopefully he agrees. I think we had a blast. Would you say that? Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Obviously, you have Kirk's presser. You get to, hear what he thinks, kind of his first thoughts on the season. But then the best part, obviously, is going out, getting to talk to all the players out there. And there is a lot of different storylines and everything. I don't want to steal all Jonah's thunder, but we did talk.
Ahead.
Okay, we did talk to a couple of local guys. Obviously, Nolan DeLong from Durant and Kyler Girardi from North Scott. I'll let you talk about Girardi because you seemed very excited about what he was doing. I'll talk about Nolan. It was really cool talking to him. I mean, both of them have always dreamed of, being a Hawkeye, and for them to, just be there, you could tell how much it means to them. And specifically talking to Nolan, he's one of 6 siblings, and he has 4 younger siblings. And so he was just talking about how it's really cool to set an example for his, younger siblings to be there and be a D1 athlete. And I just think it's really cool that he's an inspiration to his family like that. And him being, so close, it's like his family comes out to all the games and everything. And I'm sure it's the same for Kyler. It's just so cool for those local guys to be there. And now... Oh, you have something.
Well, I was going to say, didn't Nolan talk about when he was little, they would go to the games, and he told his dad,
Yeah,
Dad,
he did.
I'm going to be an Iowa Hawkeye. And his dad's like, okay, that's a great dream to have. He's living out that dream now, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So I guess I'll throw it to Jonah to finish up the local guys. And when you're done, I have a lot of other thoughts on the Hawkeyes, but we'll start with our local guys.
Kyler Girardi, defensive back, redshirt freshman. So he's looking to make an impact now after redshirting the previous year. And him, in addition to Nolan DeLong, they're both walk-ons. So I think it's really cool that they earned their spot. And now they're trying to make an impact. Obviously, it's a crowded depth chart right now, but two guys that are proud Hawkeyes, and both guys are former quarterbacks.
Nolan was a running back.
Running back, okay.
Yes, both offensive guys, though, now playing
defense.
defense.
My
yes.
bad. And some of the footage we saw, it looks like Nolan was in the Wildcat formation.
Well, he may have been
snap.
because he was that good.
Yeah, but both of them, Phil Parker talked about how that knowledge of the offensive side can really help on the defensive side because they have that outside knowledge of what the other side can do. So I really think it's cool that they both transitioned and they both kind of adjusted and did whatever they could to make a roster on Iowa, their hometown school. So really cool.
Yeah, and hopefully they're going to get some looks on special teams, too, they talked about. So we should hopefully be seeing them.
I think Nolan played some special teams
Yeah.
last year. And Kyler, I think, was one snap away last year at the end of the season from becoming the quarterback because they had so many people hurt.
Yeah.
He was literally like
crazy.
one snap away from him. It was either him or another guy could have been quarterback.
McNamara had a concussion, right? And then
Sullivan was out.
And then did something happen with Stratton at that point? Or,
yeah,
I can't remember. Yeah, he was. Stratton was up, and then if he went out, it was like Kyler was probably going to be up. Right. So that's crazy.
Kind of crazy there.
But other things too. There's so much from Media Day. I know the big thing is Mark Gronowski, but I'm going to bury the lead. We'll talk about him later because there's something I'm even more excited about, and that is the O-line coming into this year. They have a lot of guys returning. Obviously, Logan Jones as the center is very exciting, but then having guys like Jennings Dunker, too. Jennings Dunker is hilarious, by the way. Need to throw that out there. But the thing that I thought was really cool talking to the O-line is their mentality. It made me laugh. They seem like a funny group of guys. They said their mentality is that we suck. That's what they tell themselves. Yeah, I know. They're like, we suck. And I asked Jennings about that. I was like, so why do you guys say that? What's the mentality with that? And he's like, we don't want to become complacent, you know? It's like they want to keep working to get better, and they don't want to be like, oh, yeah, we're good. Like, we all know they're good. The Big Ten knows they're good. But they don't want to become complacent with that, and they want to just keep working on getting better. So I thought that was really funny because I think was it Logan Jones, I think, that said that. He was like, yeah, you know, we just think that we suck. And I was like, that's an interesting way to put it. So I thought that was really cool, and it's cool to see how close Gronowski has become with the entire offense and obviously the offensive line. I know Tim Lester was saying him and Logan Jones became pretty close pretty quick, which makes sense. I mean, you know, your quarterback and your center, they need to be close. So that's really exciting too. And I guess I'll just keep going on offense for a second. I also want to talk about the running back situation.
First of all, they have to replace Caleb Johnson.
Yes.
Caleb Johnson, again, if you didn't follow Iowa football very closely, going into last year, you might not have known a lot about Caleb Johnson, and then he burst on the scene. After the first 3 weeks, he was leading the country in rushing yards. Eventually did not get there, but I believe was an All-American. Just everything he did was fantastic, and now he's in the NFL. Yeah. So now they're looking for that next guy to step up.
Yeah, and so Jonah and I, we went and talked, obviously, to Kamari Moulton because he got some good looks last year. I didn't realize the biggest thing for me is a lot of times you're just watching these guys play. I didn't realize how young Kamari Moulton was. Like, we went up to him, and I was like, oh, he looked really young, but he has a very, I would argue he kind of has a veteran mindset, you know, because he learned a lot being behind Caleb Johnson. But then he talked about, too, that this year is about proving it to himself and just working on himself and, you know, figuring that out. So I think he's going to be really fun to watch as well. And then obviously the wide receiver room, there's a lot of depth there with Jacob Gill. You got Reese Vanderzee. You got some transfers coming in. Sam Phillips from Chattanooga. I think he had over, 2,000 receiving yards from Chattanooga. So a lot of depth in the wide receiver room, which is also very exciting. And then I've yapped for a while. So, Jonah, would you like to talk about Gronowski? I didn't even touch on him.
I want you to talk about Dunker. He had some interesting.
Yes,
talk about his hair.
Yes. Dude, that was hilarious.
So, obviously, my first experience with Jennings Dunker, but this guy is a character. One, because of his diet. He talked about his diet last year about how he eats over thousands of calories on a game day. But he also has a signature mullet and a mustache, and it's just like a very striking. Just personality and he uses hand soap. I asked him about his hair routine, he didn't mention shampoo. He said
Yeah.
he uses hand soap in the group shower.
In the locker room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need the details, buddy, but that's all he said. So I was hoping for like an elaborate routine, but just hand soap for the guy.
Yeah.
It's just
I
such
guess
an offensive lineman.
when you got a good flow, you don't need much
Yeah.
to keep
That
it.
was when
Apparently,
he said
I wouldn't
that.
know. So
When he said that, I was like cracking up because I know you were expecting him to be like, oh, like I wash it and do this. And he's
Yeah.
like, I don't know, hand soap. And you were like, what? But I pulled up his diet. He eats at least 5,000 calories a day, at least.
Yeah.
So his game day diet, Friday night at 5:30 p.m., he has 2 to 3 servings of pasta with meat marinara, a few rolls, a 12-ounce steak, 2 servings of fruit. 8:30 that night, he has 3 hamburgers, 3 bags of baked Lay's chips, drip drop hydration mix, and hot chocolate. And then Saturday morning, 7:15 a.m. Hold up, I need just cup space. I just had to. Saturday morning, 7:15 a.m. 4 pieces of toast, 2 bowls of Wheaties, a few pancakes, 2 chicken breasts, 24 ounces of water, and drip drop hydration mix. 9 a.m., 4 pieces of toast and chicken breast. 10:15, Martin Gel, I don't know what that is. Honey Stinger Energy Waffle and Chews, drip drop hydration mix. During the game, 350 calories of Honey Stinger Energy Waffles and Chews after every offensive possession, Powerade, Body Armor, and water. Halftime, Honey Stinger Energy Waffles and Chews and more of that Martin Gel. After the game, Culver's, a double bacon cheeseburger with no vegetables, family-size order of cheese curds or onion rings, and 3 sides of ranch dressing. That is the game day diet
Yeah.
of Jennings Dunker.
Yes.
And you want to know why he's a good offensive lineman? Because not only does he eat that, but he works out, and that's something that I don't know if that's what the nutritionist gave him, because I don't.
Yeah, he had.
Is that what it
Jonah,
was?
didn't you? He talked about that,
Yeah,
right?
his nutritionist put him on this plan. And he's just like,
I'm glad-
I just do what she tells me to do.
I'm glad
Yeah.
that's not my nutritionist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did
I don't
he,
think I could eat that much food.
I know. What did he say about it too? That he was like, I don't even like eating food. Is what
He's
saying?
like,
just-
I'm
something
not
that's-
doing it for fun.
Yeah, it's like food is
It's a
it's
job
something he
for
has
him.
to.
But
eat.
again, if you think about it, how much weight has he probably gained since he was from high school?
Oh my gosh,
Probably
yeah.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
And with working out and everything else, he's getting to be that prototypical size that you need to be if you want to get to the next level. You know,
Yeah.
that's what they're working and training him
Yeah,
to do.
that
So
makes
it's kind
sense.
it's
That
kind of
makes
cool
sense.
that's what's happening. All right, so now we still have not talked about Mark Gronowski.
Right.
Shall we do that?
Yes.
Sure.
I
So,
guess yeah. You can go first. I talked a
Gronowski
lot.
just seems like a real down-to-earth guy who's been able to relate with all the different position groups. He talked about how he really spends time watching film with the wide receivers, going on offensive line trips with the guys, and yeah, he just is like, he's a confident guy. Like, you're not confident if you don't if you make the jump from FCS to Big Ten. You have to be confident,
Mhm.
and he seems like that. But he knows that he has to earn his spot with this group. Like, he didn't take his role for granted with the Hawkeyes, so it's like he didn't come in trying to act like Mr. Big Shot. Again, like a down-to-earth guy who just wants to do the job well and lead his group without, being cocky in the process of doing that. So
That's what I really noticed too. That I would have mentioned too is just all of the guys said that he did earn his spot. Like you said, he didn't come in thinking he was like really hot stuff.
Yep.
And he does seem really down to earth. That was my initial first impression of them. He seems like a really genuine person. And the thing too that he talked about, I think you asked him the question about the biggest thing he learned at South Dakota State.
well, I asked him what kind of leader. are you?
Oh, okay,
But
yeah. And you said the biggest thing he learned at South Dakota State was to become a leader. He's like, that was his biggest takeaway from it. And, I asked some of the offensive guys about that, and I was like, he said that was what he learned. Like, how have you seen him incorporate that and become a leader here? And again, they said that he's just earned it. And I don't know. It's just, I think it's going to be really cool with him at quarterback. Iowa, they need a good quarterback. I hope this is the one,
The last one was probably Spencer Petras. He
Yeah.
was pretty good. Before that, go back to who knows.
Yeah.
It's been a while. But the other thing with him is you would think the quarterback coming in is the guy that's going to lead the offense. And it's like, hey, this is my room. This is my team. This is mine. But like you guys said, he didn't do that.
Yeah.
He earned it. And now that he's earned it, okay, now he can lead and kind of get people, but he doesn't get on them. He's not a yeller. He's not. Everybody learns and leads differently, and
Yeah.
he's kind of learning how to lead and push people different ways to get the most out of the offense, which is kind of really cool because, again, in that huddle, who demands everybody to be quiet when he's talking? The quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, as long as you've earned that, they will respect you as long as you respect them. And it seems like that's what he is.
Yeah.
That's what he's done to this point. So Iowa does open the season August 30th. They're at home against the University of Albany. I was going to give something away, but I'm not going to. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till next week on this one.
Oh, interesting.
But anyway, so get there. Most games are sold out, I believe, for Iowa. I think there's only a couple that have not been sold out. So we will be at most of the Iowa games this year.
Yes.
So it should be a fun year.
Yeah, I do have to say, though, we didn't talk about the defense.
Yeah.
Talk about the
Jonah, I
defense.
know he's really excited about that D-line.
That the defensive line is filled with quality returners in Aaron Graves, Ethan Herkett, and Max Llewellyn. They are beasts up front. And then they also have a good amount of depth behind them. Some young guys coming in and also some transfers. Jonah Pace, I already love him.
I can't imagine why.
He's
Name
from
twins.
Central Michigan. And then Bryce Hawthorne came with Gronowski from South Dakota State. So they have a really solid group. Overall, though, if you look at linebacker, cornerback, and even wide receiver, it's a real unproven group. It's depth, but they haven't really had that starter experience across the board. So it's going to be like a little wait and see kind of who steps up within those groups. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think a couple guys that are going to be fun to watch, obviously, will be like Cohen Enchinger and Xavier Nwankpa. I think are going to be two fun to watch on defense. Also on top of the D-line members he mentioned.
Yes.
So we'll see how Iowa can mesh everything together. Kirk Ferentz seems to do a great job of that, and he always talks about how all three phases play off one another. Defense gets a turnover, gives the offense a short field. They usually score points, or they flip the field with punting because in Iowa, punting is winning.
I've heard
they do sell those T-shirts out there in Iowa City. So.
I heard at Kids Day that Reese, he looked pretty good punting out there. It seemed like everyone's pretty excited about it. So
we have one kid captain this year, I believe, from
Wapello, yeah.
So that's in November 8th, which is the Oregon game. So some big games at home for Iowa. They have the Oregon game at home November 8th. I believe October 18th they host Penn State. And then the other big one is on the road, Iowa State week 2.
Cyhawk, baby!
So that'll be fun. That's always a fun,
Yes.
That
fun
game,
week.
people are going to see what they're made of. Their first test right out of the gates. It's
Yes,
gonna be cool.
Matt Campbell always does a great job with Iowa State, and they're expecting to have another great year as well. Anything else with Iowa that you guys want to talk about before we move on to Illinois?
I think we covered it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to preface this by saying we may not talk as much about Illinois in this podcast. Illinois hasn't had their media day yet.
Yes.
We're shooting this on a Monday. Their media day is on Tuesday. What is tomorrow? Tomorrow is the 12th.
Tomorrow. You said it was tomorrow. I was like Tuesday.
It is the 12th, August 12th, and I will be down there for Illinois Media Day. So in our next podcast, we'll have a lot more to talk about and talk a lot more in depth about Illinois. However, this is probably one of the most anticipated Illinois football seasons that I can remember. Yeah. Probably since, I don't know, maybe early 2000s or even before that. Who knows how long ago it was. Illinois comes in ranked 12th in the preseason poll. They are thinking this team has a shot to make the playoffs, and that's this team's mentality: is playoffs or bust. They think they can make the playoffs, and why not? When you return a guy like Luke Altmaier, who is up for the Davey O'Brien National Quarterback of the Year award already, which is kind of cool. I mean, they list a whole bunch of people. Is he going to do it? I don't know, but he's on the watch list. But he's got all kinds of guys back on the offensive side of the ball. He's got a lot of people to throw to. One of those guys that's back is Cole Rusk. Cole Rusk, a Rock Island grad. He actually went to Rock Ridge as well, but then transferred to Rock Island, graduated from Rock Island, and he's kind of bounced around. He was, I think he was Central Michigan or Eastern Michigan. He was one of the Michigans. I don't remember which one it was, but he was one of the Michigans. Then he went to Murray State, and then he transferred to Illinois last year. just before media day last year, he tore his ACL and missed the entire season. And I remember going down there thinking, all right, I'm going to talk to him. This is going to be great. I look at Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and on there he posted unfortunate news, and I'm reading, I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then I look up, and here he comes walking with crutches right past me, and I'm like, I can't even stop him to talk because they're not even allowing him to talk.
I
was just
remember
like,
you
I
telling
felt
me that.
so bad for him on that day.
Yeah.
But I knew because of who he is and the way he was brought up that this minor setback wasn't going to be anything that was going to hinder him in the long run.
Oh, yeah.
He's already back on the field. He's already making an impact. His tight end coach has said he's making that impact. He can catch the deep ball. He's good with short routes. He's got great hands. He's going to only complement everything that they are able to do with Arkin as a tight end last year. With him getting in and playing some reps, that offense is going to be so much better. He's going to be better. I'm looking forward to talking to him and seeing his outlook. He and Luke Altmaier are actually roommates.
Oh.
Yes,
So
I remember.
that's
Yes.
helpful.
So it's kind of
for the
cool,
field.
yeah. So, I mean, right there you got that rapport, so don't
Yeah.
think that if he's open, Luke's not going to be able to find him.
Yeah.
So, and then one of our other local guys that plays defense is Matthew Bailey, a Moline grad. Talking to him after last year, he led the team in tackles last year, which is kind of interesting to think that a safety is going to lead the team in tackles. But what they did with him is they just let him be a ball hawk. They're like, all right, yeah, you're playing this position, but your job is you see the ball, go get the ball. Go tackle that guy. And in the bowl game that they played against South Carolina, he led the team in tackles. I believe he had 13 tackles in that game. So he had like 80-something tackles or 90-something tackles, whatever it was, and led the team in tackles last year. He's looking for another breakout year. He's a redshirt junior, so after this season, if it's good enough, if he wants, he potentially could go to the NFL draft to see what happens with him. Obviously, maybe play 4 years still. But looking for big things out of him. He's had a really good career. Sophomore year didn't work out as well because he had a foot injury. He was coming off an injury. Last year, he finally said, I knew how to play healthy. And that was key for him, was playing healthy. And he made a big impact. He got to learn the past couple of years from guys like Sidney Brown, who played, he's in the NFL. I don't remember who Sidney's with, but he got to learn from him the past couple of years. So he knows what it takes to get to that level. He's a guy, when he was at Moline, naturally gifted athlete. Gets to Illinois, and they turn him into a defensive back, safety, and just kind of picks that up and has grown so much as a player there. Believe it or not, I've known him since he was in kindergarten.
Really?
Yeah, he and my daughter.
my
He and my
gosh.
daughter are the same age, so
Unreal.
it's kind of cool that I've got to see him. And the interesting thing with Matthew Bailey is down in Illinois they call him Matt Bailey.
Oh, yeah.
And I asked him after his first year, I'm like, hey, do you go by Matt now? He was like, no, I'm still Matthew. I said, but Coach calls you Matt. He goes, Coach can call me whatever he wants. so down there, he's Matt Bailey, even though to everybody up here, he's Matthew Bailey. And if you ask his mom, he will always be Matthew Bailey. So,
I love that.
so we're looking to see some big things out of him. And then we have one more down there, Mac Rasetich from Spring Valley Hall. He got some playing time last year. On the defensive side, he got some special teams in.
He had some good returns last year.
Yeah, so he played a little bit. I'm curious to see what his role will be with the Illini this year. So interesting to talk to him. But we'll have all kinds of stuff on Illinois over the next week, and then on our next podcast, we'll obviously be able to go a little bit more in depth on the team dynamic and everything about Illinois. Is there anything you guys want to say about Illinois? I spoke forever. Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like you covered everything. I mean, I'm sure John would probably agree. Just excited to see what they do this year. I mean, you touched on our local guys. I think obviously they're going to make big impacts. I'm excited. I know we saw Matthew Bailey make his big impact. I'm sure he will continue that. Really excited to see Cole Russ get the chance to make an impact. So, yeah, I think you covered it.
Yeah, definitely.
We will be down in Champaign as well this year, down for a few games. They open the season the 29th of August against Western Illinois. I believe it's a 6:30 kickoff. We will not be at that game because that is the first night of high school football and the score.
The perfect bridge to our next topic.
It is. Can we just first of all
what
mention last year's game again, just for fun, when you went down to Eastern Illinois? No, you don't want to do that.
I thought, you would score. We go through this all the time. I thought they would.
I like to just bring this up.
I know. They should have at least scored. They had some good pieces. They had a good quarterback. They have a great coach. They should have scored. It was very disappointing, but whatever.
Anyway, don't worry. They're going to do well against Alabama in week 1.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm sure they will. Anyway, the score.
Yes.
High school football. August 11th. The day we're shooting this, a Monday night, first day of high school practices for the fall sports. So across the board, all fall sports are practicing on both sides of the river. We're going to focus a little bit more on the high school aspect of it, high school football previews over the next 3 weeks leading up to the 29th. We're going to do 30 previews from the college ranks to high school, both sides of the river, all the conferences. I mean, we're not going to get to every team because there's too many teams, but we're going to hit a majority of the teams. Let me start with you because this is your second year of doing high school football. What are you excited for the most about high school football?
Everything? Is that a good answer?
Sure. All right. Great talk.
Yeah.
Jonah. No.
Well, again, you guys know, it's funny because actually on our 6 o'clock show today, John brought this up at the end of the show. He's like, I don't think anyone's more excited for football season than you. And I was like, you're probably right. Like, I love football. High school sports are just so much fun. I love shooting it. I love the atmosphere. It's so fun because high school, it's like, I feel like any of them could just break out and do something amazing at any time. It's like, you know, some of them, they'll have great nights, you'd find the craziest plays in high school football. So just, again, shooting at the atmosphere, just the gameplay itself. It's so much fun. I love it. I really do. Yeah, I can't wait. And obviously the Friday nights with what we do is fun with the grilling, calling the highlights. It's amazing how many games we get to. Like, I think last year my first impression of it is like we have so many schools in the viewing area and we make it to almost everyone we can. And even if we can't make it to each team that night, they will get covered during the season. And I think that's awesome that we're able to get and, you know, give everyone their coverage and catch those big moments. Like, we get some crazy plays. I love that we have the play of the night, the hit of the night. The hits of the nights go crazy. It's like, it's so cool. I can't wait. And I can't wait for my sliced cheese every night and my hot dogs.
All right, Jonah. So this is going to be your first football season with us.
Yes.
We've talked a lot about football. Is there anything that excites you about high school football or something that you're looking forward to this year? Because obviously you haven't experienced it around here yet, so you don't know what it's like on a Friday night around here. But what's one thing you hope to see or maybe kind of excites you heading into the season?
Yeah, it's tough to answer the question that you asked, Jenna, because I haven't experienced it, so I don't know yet what to be excited for. But overall, I love sports. I love football. It's been a while since I've been at a high school football game and experienced that. So I think just the overall, the atmosphere, the energy, that's why we love going out to games, right? Is because you feel like you're a part of something bigger and a community kind of comes around for a team. So that's the fun part is when you're there and you just feel the energy of everyone there. And obviously big plays happen, everyone getting hyped up. It's been a while since I was up close for a high school football game. So I just think like being there close to the action and experiencing all the exciting action with everyone there. So I'm looking forward to the adrenaline rush of it all, the nights and coming back. And I've heard great things about the grilling.
Yes.
I've heard some nightmare things about the grilling.
We haven't had a nightmare in grilling since 2 years ago, so that's good.
The fire.
Our good friend Julian Vanderbilt.
The unpredictability of it is I'm really looking forward to it.
So the one thing I can tell you is it's really cool to see the communities get behind their high school teams. You're going to see the small schools definitely show out and like they get insanely behind their teams. Like they're passionate fans, which is really cool to see. The bigger schools, you're going to get to some of the bigger stadiums and look around like there's 5,000 people here, 6,000 people here watching a football game on a Friday night. It's like what else is there to do on a Friday night than go watch a high school football game? And that's the fun part of it. You get to see the coaches up close and personal. You get to see the players up close and personal. Sometimes you even get to talk to some of the referees because of like, hey, who's going to be your guest griller tonight? Who's going to be this? Who's going to do that? Who's at this game? Who's at that game?
Or if you get ran over by a football player, they'll be like, you okay?
That's only reserved for you. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, I think the difference, something I'm looking forward to, the difference between the score basketball and the score football is just like the grandness of football. It's just a bigger stage than basketball. So it's like you feel like you're a part of a bigger event. And I think that's something I'm looking forward to is like you were talking about the packed crowds. So
get, if you think about this, so basketball teams play roughly 30 games, right? Football, you're guaranteed 9. You get 9 weeks, 9 Friday nights that you're going to get a chance to play. If you make the playoffs, obviously you extend your season. But those 9 Fridays are important to those young athletes.
Yeah.
They work so hard every week to get ready for whoever they're playing, and it does mean something to them. Now, there's a couple different ways. Obviously, playoffs are different on each side of the state. If you win your district in Iowa or get second in your district in Iowa, you make the playoffs. If you win your conference in Illinois, you make the playoffs. If you get to 5 wins in Illinois, you can make the playoffs. If you get 6, you're guaranteed into the playoffs. I would say roughly we get about 20 playoff teams from both sides of the river combined. We haven't had a team get to a state championship game since 2019.
Yeah.
That's a long drought around here. I want to say.
So what I'm hearing is that this is the year for someone
this
to
could
do that.
be the year. The last team to get there was Sterling Newman back in 2019. Brandon Kretzmer was the coach. His first year, replacing legendary coach Mike Poposi. He won the state championship his first year.
Wow.
And I remember asking, I was like, this isn't that hard, is it, Coach? He's like, oh, it's harder than you think. But he was very appreciative. He's now I think he's a linebacker coach or one of an offensive coaches down at Western Illinois. His alma mater is where he's coaching now. But a really good coach, a really good guy. You're going to get to see, obviously you got to shoot a couple previews today, both of you guys did.
Yeah.
You get to meet the coaches at a different level during the practices. But then you see them on the games, like, oh, hey, how are you? Some coaches we know so well, like a Chip Fill or a Mike Morrissey, a Nick Welch. I mean, you name it. There's so many, even on the Iowa side, a Rusty Van Wensinga and Nate Galbraith. And, I mean, there's so many good coaches on both sides of the river, and they see you on a Friday night, and they're like, hey, how are you? I'm like, you got a game to coach. Why are you saying hi to me, or whatever? But it is really cool, and, again, it's a really cool experience. We will have guest grillers again this year, which is kind of cool. We haven't decided on the guest grillers yet, but we have a nice list.
We have a nice lengthy list of options.
About 28 people that we're going to send out invites to and see who can and can't do it. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Each week we're going to be grilling up something from brats and burgers to chicken to pork chops to hot dogs to you name it.
We should do some like salmon or something.
Something. We usually ask the guest grillers what do they want to cook on the grill. We get it. They cook it. Then we all eat it. It's fantastic. We usually send out about 10 crews to about 20 different games, and we go for 45 minutes. We are the only station that goes 45 minutes. So we go from 10:15 to 11 o'clock every Friday night. So if you're wondering who to watch and who's going to have the most in-depth coverage, I want to brag. It's us. Nobody else touches what we do. Maybe somebody else will try, but it's not going to be to the level that we do. Now, one thing you're going to like, or maybe not like, when we first start out the season, it's nice. It's great weather.
Oh, here we go.
As we get further into the season, it gets a little bit cooler.
I'm aware.
Okay? The good thing is, if we position people where they're supposed to be on the set, you'll be right by the grill.
Oh,
we'll let you have the warmth of the grill.
Like I'm at home.
It'll be like sunny and 70 in Phoenix. What are you worried about?
WQ80 blanket. all good to go.
Yeah. But also with that means you may have to flip a burger or two.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So don't burn them.
But wait, is he going to stand in where I stood last year?
No. You'll still stand in your spot.
Oh, I'll see.
Flip.
Okay, because I was like, I don't want to be on the end because everyone's so tall. I'm going to be, like, boxed out from the whole conversation.
What we'll do is we'll just stick you behind the grill. We'll open up the lid. We'll never see you.
Dude,
just fine.
For the viewers that don't know, I do have to say last year when we were doing it, the grill was so tall when we had it up. We have a TV out there that we see the highlights on. We're calling the highlights. I always had to move to the side and stand on a box to see over the grill and look at the TV. And, like, you'd always be like, come here. And I'm, like, going up. And I was like, okay. I was like, I could see what's going on. So it's a lot of fun.
And sometimes we even get a drop-in coach. Mike Morrissey wins. He's just down the road. He pops in. Nick Welch, he wins. He pops in. Sometimes coaches from the other side of the river, they win. They pop in. They more pop in just because they want to have whatever's on the grill. I don't think it's here to talk to us, but it is kind of cool when we get those little drop-ins by coaches and stuff like that. So that's kind of a lot of fun. So high school football, excited for that. The Score will be back August 29th with our first week. All right. Time to move on to some fun questions. Is that right?
Yeah, some fun questions.
What
We
are,
could do
what
that.
are our 2 fun questions that we have
So
tonight?
the first one is a celebrity you want to meet that isn't an athlete. Because I feel like all the time we talk about our favorite athletes or coaches. I'm like, no, celebrity that isn't involved in sports.
Could they be an announcer?
Oh,
I'm gonna say
like a sports announcer.
I'm gonna
or
say
something.
no.
Okay.
They have to be someone totally separate from the
So
sports world.
they can't be involved in the sports
Because
world
I
at
think
all.
everyone knows our like sports idols. We've talked about them a lot. So I'm like something a little different. Maybe like, just something different. Anyone want to go first?
Sure. I'll
Go ahead.
All right, Jonah.
It's the Sandman, Adam Sandler.
Okay.
I have to go
Okay.
with him. He's hilarious. He's a member of the tribe, Jewish, if people don't know what that means. So we got that in common. And he also just loves to hoop. He's a hooper.
He is a hooper, yeah.
I would love to play pickup with him. He's just a funny guy and great movies, SNL, you name it. So Adam Sandler.
That
would
does
be my
prompt
guy.
a question. What are your thoughts on Happy Gilmore 2? I haven't watched it yet. And I need
I've
to.
seen it, yeah.
I
Have you
need
seen
to.
it?
Yes, I
Okay,
did
go ahead.
see it.
What are your thoughts?
I think it's too, it's not original enough. Like, it's too many callbacks to Happy Gilmore 1, and it's not as funny the second time. But it's still entertaining. It's still entertaining enough for me to watch, and there's still some funny parts where I'm laughing out loud. So
I don't disagree with that.
I'll give it like a 6 out of 10.
I watched it. I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
And then I think I saw the next day after I watched it, there's like 49 different cameos from people.
crazy.
Now, some of them because they're the golfers. So
Yeah.
and
The
main people.
Scotty, the
But the
Rory,
one
the-
that I didn't
Scotty
realize,
one was good.
one of the characters was Eminem.
Yeah, that part was bad.
It was, but I was like, once I saw that was Eminem, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
He
that was
cannot
Eminem.
act.
No,
I-
he's not supposed to
Yeah.
though. But yeah,
I'll watch it.
Again, you said 6. I'll probably 6 as well. I mean,
Yeah.
was it good to watch once? Yes. Will I watch it again? Probably not.
Yeah.
I'll watch it before our next podcast episode and give my star rating on it. Okay,
Who's
do you want to
next?
go?
No, go
Me?
ahead.
Okay. I would love to meet Iron Chef Bobby Flay.
Okay.
That's a good one.
All right.
I grew up watching, obviously, all the sports channels, but then the Food Network channel. And Bobby Flay was always my favorite, maybe because when you watch Iron Chef America, they would always challenge Bobby Flay. That's always who they would go for. And, I watched Beat Bobby Flay, watched him on, Food Network Star. He seems like a cool dude. I was like, I would love to meet him. If I had, I think we talked about, if there's an athlete that we'd be, a little bit nervous to meet. I think I would actually be a little bit nervous to meet Bobby Flay, because I'd be like, oh my gosh, that's like Bobby Flay. That's so cool. So that might be a weird answer. But, again, if my sister watched this, she knows. She knows that I've been a Bobby Flay fan since I was, itty-bitty. So that is my pick.
A food one for me would be Guy Fieri.
Okay,
I would
yeah,
love
that's
Guy
cool,
Fieri.
too.
Yes.
Yes.
Diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Absolutely. Or Guys Grocery Games.
Yes.
Did you watch that? That
Yeah.
was a good one too.
All right, so if I have to pick one, I'm going to be quite honest. I'm not a big celebrity. I want to
Yeah.
meet a celebrity type person.
Yeah.
That's not who I am. I mean, I think they're all pretty cool, whatever, but I figure they also just want to be left alone.
Yeah.
They're always in the limelight, whatever. They just want to be left alone. I think a cool one to meet would be probably Samuel L. Jackson.
Okay.
I think that'd be pretty cool to meet him. I don't know. There's just not too many out there that
I'm the same way though. I have my one. That would be cool. So but Samuel L. Jackson would be cool.
I have probably more sport people that I
Yeah.
would think would be cool to meet. But yeah, just overall actors, actresses, anybody like that. Yeah, I
What
think.
about
Yeah.
a musician?
Ooh.
If I can, Morgan Wallen might be pretty cool to meet.
Ooh, that yeah.
Yeah, him or Luke Combs. I'm a country music guy, so
yeah.
I like some of those.
I do like Luke Combs.
If you want to go back to my high school days, the music I listened, I would love to meet maybe an Ice Cube.
You do that makes sense. Yeah.
What
What was it? Whose walk-up song was it last year for the Bandits? Was it Sam Coliseum that always had the Ice Cube song?
Yeah, today was a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how I know the
Yeah.
Bandits based off of their walk-up
Yeah.
songs.
So he would be cool to meet. If I had to pick another singer, maybe. I don't know. I think that might be it. Yeah, like
I would-
currently people like that.
See,
but-
my
yeah.
musician, I have someone I would want to meet, but you guys aren't gonna know. It's like this like alternative metal band I really like, but they're doing this Slipknot thing where they're like anonymous and stuff, so they're like kind of weird, but I like their music, so I'm not even gonna name drop them because I don't want people judging me. But I listen to all kinds of music. It would have been cool to meet Dirks Bentley after the JDC if
Yeah.
we happened to run
would've been
into
cool.
him. That would have been cool,
Yeah.
but. Who else? I don't even know. I guess an actor, I was like, you're a Marvel fan, like maybe like Chris Evans. I always liked the
Chris
Captain
Evans?
America
Yep.
movies, so like something like that would be cool.
Sure.
You would probably like to meet Selena Gomez. You
Oh,
like Selena.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up watching Wizards of
Yeah.
Waverly Place.
Oh,
so
and why not? Hello,
Yes.
yeah, that was a great show. See, here's now people are gonna think why is a 51-year-old guy watching Wizards of Waverly Place? Let me tell you, go to the white shot here.
Oh, the white shot.
Go to the white
Oh,
shot here.
okay.
So. You guys are the same age
Yeah.
as my kids. So my kids would watch Wizards of Waverly Place. My wife and I would watch
Yeah.
this too.
Yep.
That was a good show.
We watched that. We watched Hannah Montana.
Oh, yep.
iCarly. We
iCarly.
talked about iCarly.
Guilty.
Yeah, so I mean, all those shows
Drake and Josh,
that
Victorious.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So those shows that you guys grew up watching, I
You
watch too,
watched-
just because my kids are your age. So
That should
That's
be
why.
something for another podcast episode. We should talk about the best like TV show theme song. That would be
Ooh.
good. I'll write
Yeah,
that down for
I
next
don't think
time.
you guys will know mine, so they're probably too old.
Oh wow.
All right, so we have one more fun question to
Yes.
ask. What is our last fun question
Okay.
that we're going to ask today?
Secret talents, which I gotta think of one. Jonah told me one of mine the other day, and I can't remember it. So I'll go last. So who wants to?
Jonah can go first.
Jonah.
You put me on the spot.
No, I'll go first then.
I don't have any secret talents.
Okay,
This
so-
is bad.
He's so talented that all of it is well known to everybody.
All right, so one secret talent that you found out about is I can juggle.
Yes.
I can
have a video of you juggling.
I can juggle 3 objects. Let's
That
just
might
say.
make an appearance on my Facebook page on September 5th.
So the reason I learned to juggle 3 different objects was when I think I was 15. I was playing baseball. It was my turn to sit out that game. And so before the game, I really wasn't warming up like I should have been. And I was juggling 2 baseballs. And my coach came up to me and was like, hey, it's your turn to sit out. And you can sit out as long as you will be out of the game for as long as it takes you to learn to juggle 3 baseballs. Within the first inning, I learned to juggle 3 baseballs, and in the second inning, I got back into the game. So it didn't take me long. So I can juggle 3 baseballs, 3 basketballs, whatever. I can't do bowling pins or something like that. I've never gone past 3, never tried it. I can juggle 3 objects. One other fun one that you guys
Ooh.
may not know.
Oh, interesting.
Ready?
Okay,
Ready?
okay.
I can wiggle my ears.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Are they moving?
That's
Yeah.
impressive.
That's crazy.
So yeah, I
Yes.
can wiggle my ears.
I only know
Those
one
are
other
the
person
2.
I could do that. That's crazy. I can't do that.
All right,
We can
who's
try, but
who's
just-
next? That's my 2 talents.
Jonah?
I'll think
I'm
of
still trying to
something.
think of.
Um,
I have like 3, but I need to think of the other one that.
Well, just give us the first 2. We can
No,
always
here,
come back
Jonah
to
can
you.
go first. Jonah
Okay.
can go first.
I'm really I don't know if this is like a talent, but I'm really good at like memorizing lines from my favorite movies,
Okay.
and I'm also good at imitating my family members' laughs,
Oh,
Okay.
or just like people I know, like their laughs.
okay.
So I'm pretty good at that.
Okay.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, is it my turn?
Jenna Miner, should I do her laugh?
Oh no, my laugh is insane. Oh my gosh, I feel like I have different laughs too, depending on
Yes.
how intense the laugh is. But okay, I can't. Again, Jonah and I just had this conversation the other day, and there's something he pointed out, and he was like, "Man, you just have a lot of party tricks." And I was like, "I can't think
Party
of
tricks.
what." But one thing is that I can rap because I can talk really quick. And so Jonah actually heard it the other day. I rapped Rap God for him, the fastest verse. So I guess that's the secret talent. I do play the alto saxophone. I don't know if everybody knows that because, you know, it's like people that play the piano. It's like, oh, there's a piano. Let me play. I can't just whip out a saxophone. So I would say it's more secret. Like, people don't really know that. The third one is that I'm not going to do it, but I could turn my tongue into, like, a little clover, you know, and, like,
Oh,
it bends.
okay.
So that's secret.
That's
Mhm.
pretty cool.
I can't for the life of me think of what Jonah and I were talking about the other day. But yeah, those are 3 like hidden talents, I
Hidden
guess
talents.
I would say. Yeah.
People probably didn't realize how talented we are with different things. They just see us on
We're so
TV, and
talented.
we can all shoot great video too. There's another hidden. No, it's not a
Hidden
hidden. Not a hidden talent.
Oh
not
my
a
gosh.
hidden talent. So, all right. I think that's it, right? No other fun questions for this week. We're going to hold off on some of them.
We do, yeah.
It's been about 55 minutes, so we don't want to
I
do
think
too
there's
many.
one that you hacked that I think we should.
We'll get to it next time.
Mention.
We'll get to it next time. So,
Fine.
again, a lot of things we covered. We covered Steamwheelers. We covered Iowa, Illinois football. We covered high school football. And then we talked about our celebrity crushes or somebody we like to meet, basically.
Don't say celebrity crush because my celebrity, like, I said
guess,
Bobby Blaine. And
yeah.
that's like
So,
Adam
so a
Sandler.
celebrity we'd like to meet outside of the sports world.
Somebody's your celebrity crush should be Samuel L. Jackson.
Why not? Yeah. He's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'd hang out with him if he asked me to.
Oh my
He never will,
gosh.
but I would.
You never know. He might text you, be like, Corey
And then,
Kuffler.
and then I'll tell you what, if I got a text right now, I'd walk out right now. And then we let you know a little bit about our secret hidden talents. So again, if we really appreciate you guys listening, watching, however you're digesting all of this, we appreciate it. If there's something you'd like us to talk about, something you want us to talk about, maybe there's some kind of fun question out there that you guys want us to talk about, just send us an email at sports@wqad.com, and we'll get to that as well. But I think that's it, right, guys? All right, so the score returns August 29th. Up until then, we'll have a bunch of high school football previews, and if you miss anything, they will all be online. So for Jenna and Jonah, I'm Corey. Thanks again for watching.